Welcome, traders, to this week's Simple Market Metrics review. So last week I was sick, so we will be going over 2 weeks worth of data on this one, but I'm going to actually keep it shorter than normal. We won't go through all of the charts. We will just show some highlights that I want to go over in the charts, just some insights for them, and then just run through the numbers of the 2 weeks. So the first one is just going over NQ. So the week or last week, starting on February 3rd. So you'll see that week, you had a pretty major loss on the 6th on the 1 minute chart for 288 ticks. So that definitely ruined the week on that one. So this total of almost minus 1300 does not take into account if you would double the size for the 1 minute. So I did put, both like the 5th and the 6th on that one. Just the volume didn't look like it was there, so they're classified as 1 minute. So you had a good amount of wins, but then you had just a few heavy losses that took down the week. So 8-3 that week, almost minus 1300. And then moving on to this week, made that stuff back, but we're still technically in a drawdown from our peak highs that we were at. So, and then the first 2 days of this week counted that as 1 minute, just how the volume showed. So just one loss this week, only 28 ticks. Everything else looked pretty solid, so 10-1 this week. But for the past 19 weeks, that total plus 34.25 on that if you're just going to trade the 9 to 10 session. So an 84% win rate on that one. But it did suffer some big losses on it, so it did jump up the risk to over 4 times the average win. So for let's see, where is it at? Yeah. And then just the whole session for the 90 minutes. So that one's looking pretty solid, plus 5,075. And if you double on 1 minute, you're technically still positive on it. So we'll see if that, if we can make back those losses that we had. So it is at 82% win rate. Then the risk did bump up a little bit to 3.38, the profit target. And so RTY, so this is one of the ones I wanted to go over something extra on it. So last week, I was pretty much just slightly positive. You had a pretty big loss on the 5th. So that 74 ticks definitely just wiped out. I mean, you had a whole bunch of wins this week, that week. Let's see. And then this week was, 50% of your trades won, but it was a losing week. So you did have the day that you get maybe questionable or confused trading was on the 13th. That's what I have pulled up here on the chart. So this is something that you're going to have to use your discretion with this. So you're seeing that it's going for the same, in a sense, signal, just repeats it a few times in the same trend. So there really is no trend. But you don't know that yet. You're here. Okay. That one fails immediately. Close for the loss. Takes it again. And it touches. It didn't pull past, so I'm just counting that as a loss. Then you lose that. So personally, I wouldn't like to go for more than twice on that same, if you believe there's a trend and that's what you're taking, I would not want to take that third one. Instead, it's already told me twice that it's not going to, I don't think it's going to happen. And it even pulls down lower in the close of this 906 candle, which would be 908 Chicago time. But I don't see that as an uptrend on there. And a lot of the other stuff is coming down too. But that's where you would just have to use discretion to see if, whatever rules that you're going to implement, if you're just going to take all of them, or if you would just see like, hey, I don't really believe that that the momentum's really going that way. So I don't know why. I mean, it just looks, all the stuff before it looks pretty choppy and horrible. So I don't know why I didn't filter that one out. I mean, chop filters on. So that's what it just shows here. You know, they're not too big of losses and stuff, but they all add up. So, you know, really it would have just taken out, I mean, 42 ticks. So, you know, over $200, that's still something. Take off. So with that right there, if you're going for 3 wins or 3 losses, you take those 3, then you're done. And you wouldn't even get this next winner, but then they're the loser on that one. So for the past 13 weeks, it's still just slightly positive, but it's probably break even, honestly, with all the commissions that you're paying. The risk is 3.79, and it just shows like before 9 a.m. candles. It, you know, went a good amount of them, but you suffer some big losses, so it's still almost minus $900. Is dragging it down. So if you really focus on just the 1 hour, 9 to 10, and don't take those news trades, then it's bumping it up. So over $1,100 for that one. And YM, so the week of the 3rd was actually a good week. I mean, 6-0 that week. So $100 a piece. And then this week, slight loss, you know, minus $80 on that one. So it technically brings us over the past 13 weeks in positive territory, maybe even with commissions, so plus 730. Risk is 2.48, profit target. And then this number, again, if you're filtering out like these 9 a.m. News trades, you'd have to give it some space to, like, you know, the first, you know, like a few candles before 9 a.m. and, you know, and the 9 a.m. right before news comes out. So, you know, so before the 9 a.m., you're still up $400 if you would take those. And then you take that break. And then after the 9 a.m. candle, if there's no news, you know, you don't have to wait till 9:02 plus 605. So, and again, all these are going for $100. So if you're going to equal NQ, you just double it. That'd be plus 1,200, creating just that 30-minute window on there. But still, I don't like NQ. I mean, YM for this momentum indicator. So ES for the week of the 3rd was positive, plus 137.50, 7-2. Had plenty of wins, and then, you know, a couple of your losses are, you know, about 3x what you're going for. Then this past week, 8-1 plus 650, so it looks a lot better on it, and that one loss was only 12 ticks. And then so over the past 19 weeks, technically it's still positive, but not after commissions, only a 78% win rate. And then for, you know, the 8:30 to 9, if you just trade that half hour, you know, plus 1387.50. But a better use of your time is just 8:30 to 8:34. So it's just the three candles you'd be trading on. Has a very high win rate, plus 1,200. So, and even just looking at, see, 8:32, there's one. See, so that's one this week. Last week, the 8:34, 8:32. So that's 3 trades in the past 2 weeks. So it's not a whole lot that you're going to get. I'm getting this over 19 weeks, you know, for that. So, but it's just something, I mean, hey, for only 6 minutes a day, looks pretty good. And I think all the losses on that, 20, 25 ticks, you didn't have any 80 tick losses on that one. And so again, if you're in the Discord and I can just copy and paste what I have here, you can send me a message and just give you a data dump and you can look for yourself. And then so now on to the triple G, R, and Q. So let's switch this chart. So we're not using any of the other stuff. So green bar, green background, green profit wave. vice versa, red, all those. That's all you're looking for on that one. So it did actually turn around for us. So it's been 4 weeks. So the past 2 weeks, so the third was a loss for NQ. And I mean, this one, you can have some huge 332 ticks. It's ginormous, what you're going for. So, and I'm keeping the same 1 minute rule on those as I do for the other NQ strategy. So 6 to 8, almost minus $500 that week. But this week is where it, looked a lot better on this one. I mean, you had 9 to 5 and plus 2,700. You had some, a big win of over 200 ticks on here, but did have a big loss, 185 ticks on it. And so the hard part about trading the faster markets with this one, that you technically have a fluctuating profit target. When you're going for these smaller ones, 30 ticks or 13 ticks, I mean, that can move so fast. So, I could see this being actually pretty hard on this one to actually really get it in line with where it needs to be when you're moving your stops, you're moving a profit target on those smaller ones. So it is something to consider when if you're looking into doing this one instead. So for 9 to 10:30, so it's plus 34.45 over 14 weeks. If you double the size on the 1 minute, you're minus 15.15. So it looks like a lot of the 1 minute days so far are just losers. A lot of your losers are coming in. And so just add that 15.15 to this, and you're probably like at $5,000 and stuff. If you just do if the volume just shows it's a 2 minute day, you just only trade 2 minute. And that should actually help probably with the faster moving market. You'd be going for bigger targets most of the time, not just 13, 20 ticks. So you could probably get your stop and your profit target where you want it. For the 9 to 10, it's pretty reflective. So almost plus 1,300. And again, double on the 1 minute, minus 1,100. So both of them were pretty close, almost 50% win rates. So what that means is that your average winner is larger than your average loser. So if you can have around a 50% win rate, and we're really going for a 1-to-1 technically, but your average winner ends up being larger than your average loser, if you would calculate them all up. So this is something to just keep watching out for. And then YM this past week was really hard. The previous week looked pretty solid. So the week of the 3rd on it had some good wins and stuff, but all these before news. So you had an undefeated week, 4-0 on it, almost plus 1,000. So I believe that one on the 5th, all those things, again, it was like how RTY looked, just extremely choppy. The market's not really moving. You're going to have a news drop come out at the top of the hour there. So, and yet this, it's dropping momentum signals, or not necessarily momentum signals with the triple G, but it's just showing the red or the green backgrounds and candles and profit waves keep changing on you, and you're just getting whipped around on it. And then this week did horrible. I mean, Monday, you had 5 losses. So none of anyone in particular were extremely hard, but they all add up. So you went 2 and 11 this week, so minus 1,900. So that takes it for the past 14 weeks. At a loss, minus 215. Knocked the win rate down a good amount. And then ES, but this one is looking pretty solid. And since it is generally a slower moving market, this would give you time for those smaller profit targets and stops to move it where you need it to be. So the week of the 3rd, you're 6 and 7, over $1,000 you're making that week. And a lot of these losses are smaller, than your losses on the normal strategy with this. And you have some nice big wins, plus 74 ticks. That's huge in ES. And this past week, 7 and 2, again, plus 1037, 50. So and it's falling in line over a 60% win rate, 1-to-1, plus 34, 62, and 50 cents over the past 4 weeks. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's won all 4 weeks. So again, it's only 4 weeks. Nothing to really extrapolate too much into that. So this one is looking better. And so this is just today. This was this morning. And so you had this signal here, that signal there. And so both of them won. You really got to crunch this down so it doesn't look, they're not really that big. 42. Yeah. It's going, they're not that big of targets. And so on this, let's see if I can show it. Even just scrolling back, a lot of them just are winners. It's just after hours. This is, the Euro sessions. And this one would have been a loser. That candle right there would have got you out. There's a win. Then it chops around. But actually, no, you wouldn't have taken this one. This is what I wanted to find, something like this. Again, it's the background changes. Green candle, still green profit wave. It's the first candle. It does it on the second candle, but how I'm recording these is that it has to be the first candle. So saying, like this one is the first candle, and then immediately goes against you. But you just stick in the trade. And probably it might have worked out for you on this one. So that's my one caveat to this, is that this painted, because it did close way down here and then close way up here. So it did, for some reason, change the background to red already. So if it didn't do that and it was this one, we would have been all good. And you would have still lost that one. So but this kept you out of a trade. So when I'm recording these, that's the criteria. So I would stay out of this whole section. I wouldn't have gotten in that one. So if you're doing your own research on this, and you may wonder why yours aren't necessarily matching up with what my numbers, timestamps are showing, why I may leave some out. That is why. That's what I would leave out that one. This is a perfect example of what I would take. Green, green, green. Red, red, red. All right. And then so RTY. And this one's not looking too hot either. Last week was almost plus 300, 4 to 6 on it. A lot of, a few before news ones. And then this one on the 7th didn't close above the profit wave. So that's how that would be, is if this candle, in a sense, the background's red, the bar's red, but the profit wave's right around here, and it pulled back into the profit wave, and that's where the white dot was. So even though they were all red, it pulled back inside of it too much. So that's what I meant by that one. And so I wouldn't take that. I didn't count. I have no idea what happened to that one, but it was a winner or a loser. But that's also a criteria that I'm filtering out. This past week, again, 2 to 5, minus 445. So it's not looking good. Minus 665, 40% win rate on this one. So far, it seems to fit ES really well. A lot of the other markets can kind of just chop you up. And ES, it can just have very little movement or some good movement, and then it just gets you in these nice waves. So we'll keep watching these on this one. So I'll probably in the future just kind of make the videos a little shorter, just how we did today, just do some of the highlights. You guys have already seen what it looks like for any of the signals that come out. So I don't think we need to go through every single signal anymore. That way I can cut these videos down. Instead of 20 minutes to definitely 10 minutes or less. So thanks for watching. Thanks for using the affiliate link. Definitely appreciate it. And we'll keep them coming.